Tulsa. As we head into the holiday weekend, it's normally a busy time for restaurants, especially when it comes to barbecue. May is actually National BBQ Month, but with the coronavirus, it's meant a lot of changes.
We told you earlier this hour, restaurants are allowed to reopen today at 33% capacity, but not everyone is choosing to do that.
Yeah, that includes David Carroll, the owner of Red State BBQ, who joins us by phone this morning. Thanks for chatting with us today, David.
Hey, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
So first, we know many restaurants are reopening to in-person dining today at that 33% capacity. You guys, though, are choosing not to. Tell us more about that decision and what you guys will be doing instead.
Well, our place seats only about, 55, 56 people. And so it's not a large place, So some other places have a little bit more advantage because they've got more space. So we realizing that there was still a lot of social distancing fears that people have, and so we just chose to stick with the curbside and carry out. It seems to be working pretty well. Of course, we do have picnic tables, on the other side of the parking lot. We've added to that as of yesterday. So we've got about 15 picnic tables out there. They're spaced out a good distance from each other so people can feel comfortable sitting out there. Some have umbrellas, some don't, so that's what we're doing.
Very good.
David, let's talk about how this pandemic has impacted your guys' business and maybe even what you're predicting as we continue through this as far as what this weekend kind of looks like for you guys.
Well, the initial impact was pretty brutal because, we were on the precipice of our busy season. So usually right around March 15th is when things kick off for us, and everything just came to a stop right before one of our biggest weekends to start the year. And so, it's been kind of a slow climb back up the hill. Our numbers are off considerably compared to past years. But, we've done some unique things. We put in the pop-up grocery inside the restaurant, which has been kind of a nice draw for people so they can avoid the crowds at the big grocery stores. So we kind of rolled with the punches. We've stuck with some of the delivery apps and pickup apps, doing a lot of call-in orders and so forth. In terms of the future, it's kind of changed our business model, the way we do things. We're probably going to stay in the stance that we're in for the foreseeable future. So when we go back to 100%, we're probably still just going to do counter service, whereas in the past, at dinner time, we were doing table service. So it's just going to kind of change the way we do things for a while. So I don't know where we're going to end up, but all we can do is keep moving forward and hope for the best.
Obviously, this impacting a lot of businesses differently. On top of all of this, though, we do want to mention that meat shortage. That's been a real thing you guys were experiencing, right?
Yes, it has. And it has really been touch and go over the last couple of weeks. In the past, we've always, done some different meats and stuff. Of course, Thanksgiving, you do turkeys and stuff like that. We've done back in the fall and into the early part of this year, we were doing steaks. And busy season, we usually push some of that stuff to the side because the focus is pork, brisket, chicken, ribs, and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And this has forced us to kind of bring back some of those other things, which is fine. But some days, we may have a situation where we may order brisket from a distributor, and we're just kind of waiting to see if it actually shows up. This weekend, we're good. So the gods have smiled upon us, and so we should be good with pork and brisket. But there have been some times, and likely are going to be some times to come in the next couple of weeks where it's still going to be hard to source those products.
Yeah, just curious, too, what's been the reaction from people? I mean, have they been patient about all this?
For the most part, it's a very trying time for a lot of people, and so we've had people that have been, uber gracious, and so thankful that we're open. We have the pop-up grocery and stuff like that. And, we do have some folks that are a little impatient and stuff like that, and the staff, I have to give them props because they have really rolled with the punches through this whole thing. Some of them working the entirety of this pandemic,
Wow.
And so, but they've stuck with it, and you take the good with the bad, but they've been, I like to say they've been heroic. So.
Well, David, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us, and best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, for sure. By the way, Red State BBQ, they're not the only place choosing to stick with that curbside pickup or delivery. We're seeing more and more restaurants posting on social media that they want to make sure that they are ready, like you heard David say, to open when they do decide to open.
Yeah, just be sure to call any establishment before going there. Just, double check. You don't want to show up and be like, well, there goes those plans.
Yeah. A little patience goes a long way, too.